Thank you for joining us on today's program platform. And today is special for me and for my guest because we're meeting for the first time on the program, and he is the chief spokesman of the Plateau State government. I'm your uncle Yakubu Tadi, and it's a privilege for me also to have him here on platform for the first time. Not because we didn't want to bring him earlier, but he's been having so many engagements, and we've not our paths have not been able to cross. But I hope that we'll be meeting frequently more than before. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, Uncle Yakubu Tadi, for having me.
Well, he is on the other side. He's part of us in the media, but today he is on the other side of the executive. So we'll ask some questions that you were asking people.
No problem. The good thing is that we will have favorable answers.
Yeah.
Because the chief executive of the state, His Excellency Mr. Kule has made the job very simple. You know, when you have a governor that is working, when you ask tough questions, the answers are there readily. People can see what is happening in the streets. People can feel good governance. So I don't think there are going to be tough questions for us.
Well, the slogan is "The time is now." The time is now. From May 29 till now, there's so much euphoria about this administration, even at the pronouncement of the victory, to the elections and the Supreme Court victory. Are you taking it? Are you taking it for granted that people love you?
No, we wouldn't take it for granted. It's a clarion call for us to do more. It is a tonic. It is a ginger for us to do more for our people to meet their expectations. You know, governance is about doing normal things, but it's always better when you do abnormal things, things that people don't do usually. So we're going to do normal things and abnormal things. We're going to add extra to ordinary things, so we'll do extraordinary things. For example, you can see metro buses. It's been a long time. From the time that we had 10 city buses on the plateau, for people that are very younger than us, they will not understand that plateau had this development. I remember as a kid, when we come with your ticket, there's this barrier that somebody will sit somewhere and turn it for you before you access it. And you go to Vom, you go to other places on the plateau. In Jos as the capital of Plateau at that time. So we are trying to bring back those memories of Jos, of Plateau. Like very soon our train services are take off rather, and we hope that people will enjoy rides from one point to another. And when we say we want to stop certain vehicular movements, maybe by the Kenya Peb or Okada, we must provide an alternative. And as a government, we have provided alternative for our people so that our people will enjoy living on the plateau. If a ride from Jos to Bokulu is 500, for example, ours will be half of the price. So our people are going to enjoy good governance, just like they're going to enjoy more.
Okay, building alternatives, and also you talk about the Okada, the Keke Napep have become integral parts of society. Have you has the government thought through the social consequences of banning Okada with so much unemployment and economic challenges facing the people?
Okada has been banned long before now. It's not a new law. For those who have been following governance in the plateau, it's just that some people are trying to become renegades. Some people want to defile our laws. Some people want to behave like there is no law here. The issue of Okada is not a new thing. It's not us that are implementing it. It's been there. It's a matter of legislation. The Plateau State Assembly passed a law that was duly signed by the governor. So it's not the issue of us doing that. And again, we have created employment windows. If you realize the employment that the last government had, especially the ones that were overbloated, we had to look at them critically and brought back the same persons that were employed by them because they are Plateau sons and daughters. So we cannot say because the APC government employed them, the PDP government will not work with them. Government and governance is a continuum. And as a government, you know, we wouldn't be petty. We wouldn't trivialize issues. There are other windows. For example, the buses we brought. They are going to have drivers and conductors. They're going to have account departments. So we've even asked people to apply. So there are a lot of opportunities on the plateau. For example, in the agricultural window, they've opened new doors, new vistas. That is why, for the first time in a long time, fertilizer gets to polling units. And you know, there are polling units that have become urbanized. But we didn't even consider all of that. We gave them because they could have access to a rural farm somewhere. So the agricultural sector is one of the strengths of this government. And we're hoping that we're going to open up High Bank again, because African Development Bank not long ago was with the governor and the government of Plateau State to look at areas where we can open new windows, new doors, new opportunities in the agricultural sector. And we're looking at an investment that is above $300 million. Once you saturate the Plateau microeconomic atmosphere with $300 million, you know what that will do to our economy. And again, there are other benefits in the agricultural sector where if you're not getting from the unit, you can also get a fertilizer at a subsidized rate. People will buy fertilizer as low as 6,500. That's a long time ago that we can access fertilizer at that amount. But today, as a responsible and responsive government, under the able leadership of the land is green captain, the time is now leader, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Manasseh Mutfwang. We're trying to make life simple and easy for our people.
Okay, let me ask this: what is the structure in place? Well, 300 million, that's 15 sum of amount. By the dollar rate now, I can't. My head is crazy.
Yes.
Where you calculate and translate that, where's the structure to really push that through and see that yes, people benefit? And is there any mechanism being put in place to also train people? One thing that His Excellency did was to visit ASTC
Yes.
at the onset of his coming into office. But what is the narrative and the things being done to also make sure that yes, that money, start to people really benefit from that money and also reignites economic activities along the agricultural value chain?
A lot of things have gone wrong, and that is why we're in government, to fix them. We're not here to cry. We're not here to say why this is not working is because this has not been put in place. You know, the agricultural sector is a very organized sector. You find all farmers association of Nigeria, you find wheat and maize farmers, you find rice farmers, refund, you find them in their clusters. And if you want to have a group on the plateau that is very, very organized in cooperatives, in associations, I think the agricultural sector has that already. And we will not divorce them from whatever we're doing. They are going to be an integral part of it. We've always carried them along. You know, the PADP has come back to life. The ASTC, the modus operandi has to change. And that is why we've injected new blood in the system. For example, the man in charge of agriculture was in the debt, agricultural desk in the bank, and he worked with the United States Agency for International Development. So he's bringing those private sector experiences. And the man in PADP too is an agronomist. He's not as if we just brought one engineer that didn't study agriculture, that does not understand the workings in the agricultural sector. We've brought in right people to man the right sectors so that we will grow, because it is our strongest point. It is where we want to rely. Plateau State can feed Nigeria. So we cannot be saying it over and over again. We have to implement it. That's why we've brought in brains that can help us implement it. You know, when you want to invest in a project, you need to do a SWOT analysis. You need to look at the strength, the weakness, the opportunities, and the threats therein. So we have looked at all of these issues, and we've brought in people that can help us to push the weakness into an opportunity, to make those things that will threaten us into becoming our strengths. And again, like I said, it has to do with some collaborations, with conjunctions, with associations and all of that. That is why we're bringing in the African Development Bank for funding, so that these resources, when they come, they will be used meticulously, they will be accounted for. There's going to be some level of transparency, not some level of it, so that our people will benefit at the end of the day. So we are hoping that it will get to the polling units, it will get to the wards. By that, ultimately, it has covered local government. And when you have the 17 local government covered, looking at the strength of each local government, because it's not every local government that produces Irish potato, for example. It's not every local government that can get ponyo, what we call acha.
Yes.
It's not every local government that can give you guinea corn. So we're going to look at this and compartmentalize them based on their strengths, so that the requisite intervention will be given to the people that deserve it, and to the land that can handle certain crops.
Is that to say the experiment by the last government of potato being produced in every local government was flawed?
That you know, it's impossible for potato to do in every local government. It was a trial, but at the end of the day, it didn't work. Because, for example, there are places that are extremely hot. The weather wouldn't take potato. There are belts that you have farms that can handle cassava. Why not farm cassava there? There are areas on the plateau. If you go to Jingiri, for example, and you plant maize, you know there is fertile ground for it. It will come up. If you go to Bokos and do the same thing, it will come up. If you go to Mangu, if you go to Riom, if you go to Barikil, naturally this crops will go there. So like where I come from, we even farm on the rocks.
Yeah.
You have onions on the rocks of Zandi.
Potato, I know tomato.
Yes.
Yes.
If you go to
very
Shere,
exciting place.
if you go to Shere, you find tomatoes on the hills, on the rocks. People bring them down. So you begin to wonder. So you give people what they have advantage, the areas they have advantage to take to that will be the investment you make for them. So basically, we are looking at all of those things, and when these funds come in, they are going to be channeled appropriately.
Okay. If people are going to be trained, or you have people trained already that will key into this.
There are those that have been trained already, but if we want to get to the goal, we have to train more hands. Like when the governor was swearing in his special assistants and advisors, he admonished Plateau people to go into farming, and he told them that there are opportunities therein. That is why he even spoke about the over $300 million that we are looking at in the agricultural sector.
The youth population is huge. Where is their place in this scheme? And you know, the old type agriculture, it's discouraging to them. So what is there for the youth, and what kind of agriculture is going to be done to propel them to show interest?
Naturally, we'll go into mechanized farming. You know that we are deep thinkers. We are bringing new things into governance, so you should know that we'll not go the old way. If we had the 400 tractors that they said was on ground, you know that Plateau would have been an agro zone. Plateau would have been great agriculturally, but it was on paper, perhaps. I'm not trying to indict a government or stuff, because government is a continuum. Like I told you, we wouldn't want to dwell in the past. We are going to mechanize our agricultural sector. We are going to engage our youths. We are going to train them and retrain them so that they will train other trainees too. Train the trainer. Each one tell each one. That's how it is going to be trickled down. You cannot train all farmers on the plateau. But when you have a cluster of farmers that you train, they will trickle it down too. It's going to be a bottom-top approach or top-bottom approach, whichever one that will fit the system. So agriculture, like I said, is the strength of this government, is what we are going to invest in. As we are investing in agriculture, we're also going to invest in water resources so that we'll have dry season farming, so that our people can farm all through the year, so that we don't just wait and farm from April to September or October, and that's the end. If you go that way, you know that you're not going to have proper yield. Like in the wheat sector, it has been observed that on the plateau you can farm wheat twice.
There's an experimental exercise going on now. One at Shin and one near Rachel. Yes. And I've seen that one is beautiful.
Yes.
I'm sure the government is going to leverage on that too.
Yes.
Because tied to this is the issue of security. The federal government recently spoke about agro ranger, but they have been in existence. And when the incident happened around Mango, the attack, the governor asked ASTC to go and cultivate farms for people. It's the security of these people. And people have been displaced. Where are the farms for mechanization? Where are, because also farmers here have smallholder farmers. So what is going to be done differently? You have said this government thinks deeply.
You know, from little drops to mighty oceans.
Yes.
When you farm a hectare, he farms a hectare, I do a hectare, that is 3. We cannot just all of us farm 4 or 5 hectares. And if the environment is not protected, you cannot even farm the 1 hectare. And as a government, we take the security of our people very, very important, because it's a constitutional requirement. Let's assume it's not even a constitutional requirement. We will not have a plateau if our people are not safe. We will not have a government if our people are not safe. Agro rangers have been in existence. It's the usage, it's what they do, it's how you engage them that is the issue. And we want to thank the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps for giving us those agro rangers that secured the 900 hectares of farm that we cultivated for our people. We got massive yield. I cannot remember the tonnage, but it was wonderful. And the food crops we planted for our people is the one that the raining season that was remaining at that period to handle, so that if they destroy your maize, we may not replant maize for you, because it's seasonal. And at the end of the day, the agro rangers secured the farmland. So because of that experience, we are going to involve more agro rangers this coming rainy season, so that we'll have better yield, so that we have more yield. Our people cannot go to the bush and their lives are being threatened, or they are being taken by assailants or marauders or people that want to take their land. You know, once you can see that Nigeria is tilting towards state police in the United States. If you saw the deliberation in the National Assembly, you could hear that not minding their political leanings, people were lending their voices for state policing because that's the way to go. We cannot be folding our arms day in, day out and counting our losses. It's not like you're losing maize, you're losing human beings.
Yeah.
And human beings have the capacity to produce and reproduce. So when you take them, you are bringing down the reproductive capacity of our people. So as a government, we want our people to be healed and happy. We want them to be alive. We know that they will die someday. We prefer God keeping them than assailant. So we're going to do everything within our power to collaborate with the security agencies before the state policing comes into being, to make sure that our villages, our farmlands are not taken over, that when assailants and people who do not have their history coming to take over our lands. But our people must remain vigilant too. Government cannot be everywhere. There are ungoverned spaces as far as Nigeria is concerned. And if there is no synergy between one state and the other, people can penetrate. And when they commit their crimes, they withdraw and go back to their master point. So as a government, we are collaborating. That is why when we had attacks, you remember that both central governors were here in Jos to commiserate with us. And of course, we say there is a need for synergy, because if we do not synergize, our assailants can be in the middle. When they attack right, they come back to the center. When they go to the left, they come back to the center. When they go forward and backward, the same thing. So as a government, we're synergizing with the North Central governors, the Northern Nigerian governors, and of course all the governors in Nigeria and the federal government. That is why whenever anything happens, we don't just keep quiet and say, let's be politically correct so that investors will come. We can secure Plateau, and when Plateau is secured, investors will come naturally, because we have a clement weather, we have a very lovely and accommodating people, we have a people that are very, very industrious, people that are very, very hospitable. We have the best weather as far as this country is concerned. If you come to the city of Jos, you'll see how roads are being fixed. You'll see the agricultural intervention we are having, even before the rain starts. In the past, people will not get fertilizer until around September. Then fertilizer will be surplus to requirement. But now, in December, in November, October, there were fertilizers distributed to the people, so that if you want to go into dry season farming, you have access to fertilizer. In February of 2024, fertilizers have been shared already, and that's not the end. We are going to share more. So when you're kickstarting the farming season with fertilizer in your backyard, it will increase the bumper, and the harvest rather, it will be bumper. And again, it will inspire you into going into agriculture. Most of the things that make people not to venture into agriculture is the lack of implements or this fertilizer and stuff. Fertilizer is one of the greatest things that you need as far as
yes, I saw the governor visit Jerry Mado. He's an agro innovator.
Yes.
And I've also seen the youth population and issues like that. But let me ask you a question about yourself as an image maker of the state. Do you feel a burden of trying to show up the image of this government and the state, given the fact that pre-inauguration there were attacks, and we've consistently had one thing or the other? You have stories of kidnapping, but there are good things in Plateau. And so most times you get called from your journalists. They wanted to find out whether this is true, this is happening in Plateau, and people, oh, Plateau again. And the screaming headlines also give that misleading picture of what the state is. How are you going through this?
Journalists have a role to play. They are the fourth estate of the realm. If you give sad news about Plateau, that is the news that the world will get. If you give great news about Plateau, that is the news that the world will get. So we've synergized with the NUJ, and we told them that there are a lot of things happening on the Plateau apart from the killings. And the killings have even stopped, to the glory of God. We pray that it will be sustained, to neglect them, so that our people will not be killed in their farms, in their sleep, on their way from one point to another. So we have a lot of stories to tell. The sad one is just with one item. We have other stories. We have the story of our weather. We have the story of our state. We have the story of our governor doing well. We have the story of our communities doing well. There is this Hausa adage that says, it means if you twist your lips this way, that's where you will spit. So you need to twist our lips the right way so that we will say the right things about Plateau. There are a lot of things
I think I'll come for Hausa tutorials. Well, going forward and looking at it, because it's very soon this government will be 1 year.
Yes.
360. Would there be excuses that because the tribunal, because of their time, because of this, how much of a distraction or did that not impact on governance when this all things were going? And then the setup of the legislature is one of they're all Plateau people. They're all Plateau people, and they're looking at party. Once you're elected, it's no longer party. So how would this government navigate this?
And the tribunal was a distraction, but not a major one, because we realized that all the roads that were fixed were during the tribunal season. The agricultural intervention were during the tribunal season. Why they were a distraction is that people knew that they lost an election, so they wanted to take it by hook or crook. That was just the distraction. And we thought that as Plateau sons and daughters, once people make up their choices and they make up their minds, you go with the flow. You shouldn't force them into going with what they do not know. So we thought that as sane people, as Plateau people, we wouldn't get to that point. Let me shock you. Do you know that after the elections in the House of Assembly, just South and just East constituency, the PDP guy didn't take the APC that tribunal because he agreed that he lost. He lost by around 400 votes. He said, if the people made their choices, who am I to say I must go to the tribunal? We mustn't go to the tribunal. We can show camaraderie, we can show friendship, we can show brotherhood by doing the right thing. But because people feel they know somebody, they know somebody who know one useless English.
that narrative we will discuss someday.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because of that, they were harping on taking power at all costs, by hook or by crook. That was a distraction. But it didn't distract us because we had a clear-cut agenda. We had a manifesto. We wanted to put Plateau on the platform that is whole. We wanted to put Plateau on the space that everybody will see Plateau and say, wow, there is a new sheriff in town. And, you know, but because of the distractions, we said, okay, no problem. We left everything in the hands of God. And at the end of the day, you can see the jubilation. I don't think there's anywhere in this country that people jubilated the Supreme Court victory like ours. Because we were told reliably, the Plateau, sir, we have a man that understands leadership. We have a man that has a clear-cut agenda. A man that has a manifesto and the people that will help him achieve those manifestos. You can see the young people that he has employed. If you go to Plateau Environmental Protection Sanitation Agency, KEPSA, you find one young man, your younger brother is a graduate. When you go to Plateau State Board of Internal Revenue, my age grade is there. You go to JMDB, you will find a young man. The Commissioner of Youth and Sport is truly a youth, 36 years old. The Commissioner for Women Affairs in her early 40s, 40 or 41 years. Me, that I'm talking to you, you have been in the media for a long time. I don't know whether you've seen my mate speak for the state government. I don't know whether you've seen that. You find young people in government. If we squander this opportunity, prosperity will be there to judge us. I think that is the idea behind that. And we didn't just bring young people alone. We also brought experienced hands. You find Mwansak, George Deika, Titus Alams, Michael Dapianom, David Danjayong, these people that have seen it all, advising the government. It tells you that this is a serious government. This is a serious governor. We want to thank Barrister Caleb Mufwang for changing the narrative of governance on the platform.
Women are not complaining.
No, women are not complaining. We have the Commissioner of Higher Education, Ngo Kacholomgang. We have the Commissioner for Finance as a woman. The head of service on the plateau is a woman. The Commissioner for Tourism, Ajia Jamila Tukur. So there is a balance.
And they're embedded in local government.
Yes, sir. And in all the local governments, the secretaries are women, except for Lantansa, where the local government chairperson is a woman.
Okay, finally, let me ask you, we have to, the time, a conversation with you, 30 minutes is not enough. But let me ask you, would there be anything on May 31st, 29 to say this 1 year was well spent and perhaps to it as a launch pad to the next 3 years?
Equal Allah. Equal Allah. That is surprising. Even though you're a journalist, you're just asking the question. It's visible to the blind what we have done on the plateau. You know, they used to call just city, and for those of us that have been to cities, they say maybe it's just from the intellectual city. If you go to Kigali, if you go to Dakar, even though they are capitals of countries, or if you go to Gombe here in Nigeria, or you go to Abakaliki under the stewardship of David Umahi, or you go to Jigawa under the stewardship of Simon Itiraki, and no, Sele Lamido, His Excellency, or you go to Bauchi now under the stewardship of Bala Abdul Qadir, you'll understand what it is to have a governor that is transformative. Or if you come to Plateau in the last 9 months, then you know that there's new sheriff in town. Or you go during Babajan, the 8 years that he had, you know that we had some semblance of governance. We thank God that after taking a break for 8 years, we are now back to glory days, to developmental stages. In the next no, in few months or weeks, we will be facing 29th May 2024, which will which will be a year with Barrister Caleb's stewardship. Let me begin to count them for you. Sir, when we came to Plateau State, there were backlog of salaries that were not paid. When you work in the health sector, you don't get your hazard allowance. For a journalist, before you retirement, sir, ask them whether we give them hazard allowances. Because government is about the people, their security and their welfare. The grant law, which is the constitution of Nigeria, stipulates that the security of lives and property is the number one responsibility of government.
Honorable, we'll come for a second part of this conversation because we can't take it all in this one. But I know that there's so much. But when you said Ikon Allah, I know you have so much in your back. Well, viewers, we have been having a conversation with the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Communication, Plateau State. You've heard him all. And if there are questions, you can share with us so that we call him back again to answer those questions we think that the answers were inappropriate. Honorable, thank you for finding time to be here.
Thank you to Plateau people for the opportunity. God bless Plateau.
Thank you. Next week, we'll be here with another exciting guest. My name is Yakubu Tadi. Goodbye and God bless.